J. Trump.
To form unions. But for a century, major employers have waged a war against labor by forming corporate unions of their own. We need to call the Chamber of Commerce and the business roundtables what they are. They are unions for big business. And here's another fact. Against gigantic multinational corporation, an individual worker has zero power. It's only when Americans band together in democratic unions that we win real improvements on wages, benefits, and working conditions. Companies like Amazon are bigger than most national economies. Amazon is valued over $2 trillion. That makes it the 14th largest economy in the world. What is sickening is that Amazon has abandoned any national allegiance. Amazon's sole focus is on lining its own pockets. Remember, elites have no party, elites have no nation. Their loyalty is to the balance sheet and to the stock price at the expense of the American worker.
So Donald Trump makes his first return to public life after the assassination attempt. As you know, he's been officially nominated as a Republican nominee. Now, also today or recently, J.D. Vance was also named his vice president. I kind of saw this coming. I don't know. I tweeted it out once the announcement was made that the VP would be announced on Monday, if I remember correctly. And I don't know. I'm pretty neutral on the pick. I'm not too concerned about J.D. Vance. Now, I do hear from the more free market wing of the Conservative Party having a lot of concerns about J.D. Vance. They believe that he is too much of a statist, and maybe I will agree with them. I haven't done much research on J.D. Vance. I just know him from public appearances, but I haven't really seen his policy preferences and all that stuff. But hey, that's not what the video is about. I just wanted to put in that slice of news as I am kind of reacting to Trump's first public appearance since the assassination attempt, and it has become iconic in a way. Trump has become iconic. If you follow me on X, I hope you do. I had posted some clips about how people are. This is how you affect culture in a way, right? But before I go into that, I want to react to some commentary that I've seen online. No riots, no looting, no destruction in Pennsylvania or anywhere else today by Trump supporters. This is the difference between the two sides. Reverse the situation and tell me what would happen right now. And the reason why I bring up that tweet is that look with your eyes. Oh, Trump, we're scared of retaliation. For what reason? To me, January 6th was an exception, not the rule. BLM riots, Summer of Love, Chaz, to me, those are not the exception. Those are the rule for the left. Look at the Palestine protesting that happened at college campus. There's people protesting the RNC convention outside. Well, I think they have Palestine flags and all that stuff. And there were MAGA hat people, right? MAGA, that's how the mainstream media was reporting it, marching too. And they tried to fear monger about it, but it didn't work. And now I want to mention that the mainstream media, they don't know what to do with themselves at this point. Joy Reid, who I constantly criticize for being part of the hysteria that kind of created this political image of Trump of being some type of authoritarian, Hitler, Nazi figure. She's really toning down her language, as you see from this next clip. But she's worried, she's fearful that the media can't control how you think about Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
Universal kind of reaction that I'm getting, whether it's civilians or professionals, is really a deep concern and lack of confidence in not us at this table or us at MSNBC, but us as the media writ large. And a fear that what's going to happen now is that the Republican Party will do what they do. They're in the middle of a campaign. The convention started today. But the media will acquiesce to trying to convince people that the things they've been experiencing for the last 5-6 years didn't happen. That the greatest purveyor and promoter of political violence, really, since anyone can remember, since George Wallace, I think, that we just haven't experienced that kind of open, sort of citing or sort of incitement of violence or sort of luxuriating in the idea of violence. It's just not something we're used to anymore in American politics. And then we had to get used to that being a thing. And people are concerned and expressing concern that we won't be the guardians of memory. And that we will allow Donald Trump, as he is, bathed in the glory and grandeur of his party, to rewrite himself as both a hero and a victim, that people who are the most vulnerable to not just the things he's done, but the things he's promising to do, and that will then happen without a guardian saying, wait, stop. And then the media will acquiesce to this rewrite. And the people that I've been talking to don't accept the rewrite.
As you see, the media believes is that, and I wrote this down, they believe they're supposed to convince people. That was Joy Reid's quote. That's what stood out about what Joy Reid said in the clip. We are not, it hinders our ability to convince people. And I look and I'm like, yo, last time I checked, you're supposed to inform people what we're seeing. You're supposed to inform us of the facts, to be objective as possible. But I'm telling you, like, liberals dominate journalism. Journalism is not about informing people anymore, right? Amber Rose spoke at the RNC, and a lot of people had a problem with her speaking, and rightfully so. You have that right to not like the fact that certain people are talking at the RNC convention. But a part of me is like, yo, like, this is the only way the Republicans win. Like, we need big tent conservatism, right? You want to preach. Look, at the end of the day, and this is, I think I might run some people the wrong way, but I think the more, I guess, Reagan type conservatives, they're mad about the JD Vance pick. Y'all need to understand the time we're living in now. It's not 1980s anymore. I'm sorry to say that. It's not 1980s anymore, right? As you saw from the intro, I put his name's Teamster. I think the Teamster Union guy. The first time in a while that he has showed up at a Republican convention, possibly maybe to endorse Donald Trump. Who knows? But you're seeing a political realignment happening here. And one of the things that these old style Reagan type conservatives have not recognized yet is that the corporations in of themselves are acting just like the unions in the times of old, right? In the 1980s, 70s, 60s. And now people are saying, yo, we can fight. Like, it's easy to negotiate with one company, because if we don't agree with them, we can just, all right, let me just go to the next company. But if all those companies are in a cabal together, they're going to give us the same deal. So I don't understand how it's anti-free market to use the state. Because at the end of the day, that's why I look at the state. The state is a referee. And the state's like, yo, y'all can't just be in a cabal and be like, no, we're going to pay everyone the same price. It don't matter if you go here, 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 here. You're asking for the people to unionize against to each other. Because the reason why, and this is my argument before I go back to the media, the reason why I'm usually against unions is because it's free market. Hey, just because that's that company's price, you can go to another company and get a different price. It can be more closer to what you're looking for. So you don't need to hinder your power and be a part of the union, because I say the union only benefits the least common denominator, the least valuable person. That's what unions are built around protecting, right? And they'll hinder the high achiever into the same tier as the low achiever, right? Because look, we're going by tenure. That don't work for me, right? I'd rather be evaluated by skill. If my skill happens to suck and I get a lower value, so be it. But if my skill is high, I'm gonna get a higher value. That's the point of. That's why most conservatives are anti-union. But when you got corporations grouping up together, making these national, global organizations that don't care about national, and this is where the nationalism in me come out, that in some instances, I would like the free market capitalism on a national level. But when it gets to global, I believe the government has some interest in that. Now, maybe some people will be mad about me for saying that, but I honestly think that's what needs to happen. You need an economy that works for your citizenry, and that's in the government's interest. I don't know where that line is, but that's something that I am more open to. This is why I say I'm not so butthurt about JD Vance being the VP. Now, that's just my thoughts. I would prefer Vivek, but even Vivek agrees that in some way, capitalism has to be kind of gain some boundaries. I'm not a fan of global capitalism because this is what allows these national corporations to have this power, the ability to be in WEF, and then they affect all our lives. And I think this is where this little stateism solution can actually help, right? Because I'm not an ideological purist in a way. But I digress. We're talking about the mainstream media at this point, right? Former Barack Obama advisor David Axelrod says Trump rhetoric on January 6th caused the assassination attempt. Pure scum. But God forbid, people on the right, insinuates that it was Biden's rhetoric that caused it. But for some reason, oh no, we need to turn the temperatures down, says the party of Joe Biden. Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden recently had interviews as well, and he already messed up. He already called Trump a danger to the country. Literally, I think a few hours after he gave that speech in the Oval Office. Let's take a look.
You know, Donald Trump, I think, is, I said from the beginning when I ran in 2020, that he's a real danger to the country, to democracy.
Yep. He already is like, this is why I said they're not sincere people, bro. I commented this out. I said it on my last video. I don't take their public statements as sincere. Because remember, 8 years, for 8 years, they've been saying rhetoric like that. They ain't gonna change on a drop of a hat. Right? Mainstream media. Look, this is a former Biden Obama advisor talking about how, Trump's rhetoric contributed to his assassination attempt. Absolving no blame. Only one direction criticism. He ain't looking at his side because conservatives can put up numerous examples of assassination attempts against their people. And I would say it's more frequent on Republicans than it is on Democrats. And Antifa, these organizations, they've shown that these far left groups are violent towards Democratic officials, but they want to pretend, no, this is only far right. Only the far right do stoop to this. All these protesters that was at Nancy Pelosi's house, the assumption is, oh no, they're mega Republican. Oh, they're Russian stooges, says Nancy Pelosi, because people are protesting her stance on Israel. But you want to sit here and pretend that it's conservatives, it's Republicans. We need to inform the people. We need to convince the people of what they're actually experiencing. Yeah, a bad economy. It's going to be very hard to tell us that we're experiencing a good economy, a strong economy. And this is why many conservatives, many Republicans see the media as a fourth arm of the Democratic Party. You are the Democratic Party's mouthpiece. And this is why you get called propagandists. Majority of Americans falsely believe that they're not in a strong economy. What? It's not working. The economy's not working for the most people. But they did pretend that they're the party against the rich, when the rich is benefiting the most, voting Democrat. Democrat is the party of the elite now. The elite, the famous. And here they are. Why do you think we got a union guy, a pro-union pack at the convention right now? Because Trump is more pro-union, pro-labor, pro-union than the Democratic parties right now. And now they trying to bring up old clips that he said years ago. It's a different time now. We didn't realize how socialists essentially has taken over capitalism and created corporatism. Corporatism, look it up, is a collaboration between government and private businesses. That's what's going on right now. I always say that socialism is slavery, and this is what's going on right now. I'm not saying they're instituting slavery, but they're trying to gain leverage and control over populism. There's a political realignment happening, and the mainstream media are scared of it. Republican Party is the party of the working class now. And if you still think it's Democrats, that's they're holding on to their legacy. That's a legacy brand. But that's not the case today. Right? Private corporations donate heavily to Democratic Party, right? They push Democratic messaging with the woke stuff. Look at it with your eyes, people. But the mainstream media, they're gonna sit here and tell you, no, don't look at what you see with your eyes. Listen to what we tell you. Because they're trying to convince you. Joy Reid already let you know what time it was. I digress. Let's get into the video.
Well, I would just say there's no doubt about it, but we live in the age of social media where hate and outrage and conspiracy theories are actually profitable. And we've seen politics sort of mirror that. And this is a huge challenge for the country. And listen, I give the speaker credit because I think his tone as speaker has been different in a way. And I think he deserves credit for that. But, you know, the reality is that there are things you can't erase. I mean, we all remember January 6th. We remember the president's rhetoric then.
Trying to convince you. He's trying to convince you of this. As if it's the only thing that happened in 2020. Like people didn't just ride on the street and destroy a bunch of property and kill police officers on the street during 2020. The summer of love. They rioted for 3 months. And you're focusing on a day. False equivalency, huh? But if I were to talk to you, hey, look, a 3-month riot or a 1-day riot, which is worse? Which caused more property damage? Which took more lives? Who was mostly affected and mostly harmed? Summer of love, no question. But January 6th, because it directly, the riot directly happened to the political elites of our society. They felt very offended by that. That's why they focus so much on January 6th. That's just my thoughts. But things that hurt the average American, the common American, like the summer of love, oh no, that don't matter. The peasants can riot amongst each other, but as long as they don't touch us, we're fine. I think that's why they hold on to January 6th so much. And it's convenient to attack Trump and his rhetoric. But what about your rhetoric? Your rhetoric caused more damage. Should we put up the stats about collateral damage? Your rhetoric inside of your group to hurt more lives. Numerous Congress people died by people of your political party. A man rolling over a bunch of white people, a black man on a Cadillac during Christmas because he said he hated white people. Democrat Party is the party of anti-whiteism. Simple. And me, I don't vibe with any kind of discrimination or exclusion based on race. That's not my memo. That's the Democrat Party. That's always been their memo. But they want to pretend that there's such a party of virtue. Actors, all of them, actors. I don't believe you act. Theater, that's all of this is. Oh, let's try to get the moderates, the centrists to believe in us. And then 2 days later, we're going right back to what we're used to.
Just a few weeks ago, he retweeted a tweet in which Liz Cheney was accused of treason, and it said, "Read truth if you want televised military tribunals," and he did. So I think the speaker should talk to the president as well, because he has done his share to put us where we are.
David? Yeah, I was just going to say, look.
The left would have called that victim blaming, right? The left would have called that victim blaming. Oh, you're blaming the victim? Yeah, man, hey, lady, if you weren't wearing such a short skirt, I mean, you may have not gotten the attention of the predators. Oh, so it's my fault, right? Women will be outraged over that. But but the media can do that with Donald Trump. This is my point about dehumanizing Donald Trump. He's the victim right now. He's the victim of assassination. But the way this guy talking, he acts as if Biden was the one that got shot at. Story of our lives, right? And this is we're just supposed to listen to all this. Now, the reason why I say, and I'm gonna end this off with this video, Trump has become iconic, right? Because recently I found out, I think I retweeted it, that Japan, they made an anime reenactment. I think it was for a commercial, if I remember correctly, right? Of everything that happened. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this, but I found it like. Literally a shot heard around the world. That's what happened. And in my view, I'm like, yo, I don't know how Democrats are gonna like fight against this, right? Like, look, like, how are you gonna fight against this?
Wish death upon me, blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see.
Like, how you gonna do that? Like I don't see how they get past this really, because any attack, they be like, oh yeah, Democrat. Like all the criticism has been kind of grouped into one thing, and I mean that's the media's job to figure that out. I mean, I'm not sitting here just trying to attack one candidate, but I don't see how they win here. I think this is why the calls for Biden to be replaced has really died down, because I'm starting people are trying to like calculate how much of an effect that this event has on the psyche of the American people. And it helps that the Republicans have 3 days where everything's focused on them. So this is a prime opportunity for conservatives to make some huge inroads and some correlations with people. And that's how I see it. It's correlation building, right? The more idealistic wing of the conservative party, because there's been some infighting about the fact that Amber Rose is out there speaking at the RNC with her very, let's say liberal past. But in my head, I'm like, yo, like you should be accepted, because at the end of the day, we need to separate the politics from the idealism, the practical from the ideal, like just the pure ideological, right? And I think this is the separation that conservatives have to get used to. Like, hey, look, we have to bring in a new faction into the conservative party to help us be more mainstream, right? And some people think that this is one of the problems that I see in the Republican Party, is that it seemed like there's so much old people there, and it's hard for young people to really relate to a party that always seems to be like country club style. Like this is the Republican Party that Trump kind of moved away from, and I see that like, oh Mo, we don't like this. Oh, JD Vance is not part of like kind of in that mode, and they don't like it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Big tent conservatism is the only way the conservatives in the Republican Party can win an election. And you got these pure ideologues, right? Many of the pro-life people, I'm sorry, I'm pro-life as well, but I'm more pragmatic about it because I believe change happens step by step, not radically. They're mad about the fact that abortion only showed up once in the RNC agenda, public agenda anyway. And change is happening in the Republican Party, but they say like if you want a different outcome, you got to get outside your comfort zone. That's not only for my criticism of Black America, but that's also for the Republican Party. I think that's one of the reasons why I have not still registered as a Republican. I'm still independent. But I digress. That's something for another video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.